Today I'm going to talk about oral. So what is oral? So oral is to see how students speak and also understand language. So next I'm going to talk about speaking skill. What is speaking skill? Speaking skills is when a student speak, they should know how to assemble words and also sentences by using past tense and present tense. They should differentiate how to use past tense and present tense when they speak. By speaking skills, students can build communication in a conversation with other group members, such as when the lecturer gave them role play or any other activities. Students should know how to speak and they'll know how to assemble words together. So the first lesson plan of speaking skill is I took from Standard 5, Topic 4, which is about Malaysian legends. So the first set introduction is the lecturer will enter and they will greet the students and then they'll explain what are they going to teach on that day, so that the students know what are they going to be taught on that day. So the first activity, which is presentation about short story, and the student have to pick any character in the movie and then they have to describe about the character to the other students. Next is practice. Practice is what I took role play. So based on role play, which is students have to also choose a character and also tell what do they understand about the character and how does the character behavior, and then what does the character do and all. And the last one is Q&A. Q&A means the teachers will give students to read a passage about the story. After them reading the passage loudly, the teachers will ask them questions based on the short story that they have read already. And for the closure, like the teachers will give them awards to whoever did.
Hi, I'm Maria from Detail Students. So today we are going to present about our lesson plan, which is we do an activity based on the textbooks. We choose a topic which is Unit 4 Superheroes. For the set induction, the teacher will do a warm-up session with the student, which is the teacher will write down the word superheroes on the board. Next, the teacher will ask the student to choose their favorite character based on that. Next, the teacher will ask each one of the students to present their favorite character of the superheroes that they choose in front of the class. Each one of them is required to present what are their favorite characters of superheroes, and what is the superpower of the superheroes, why they choose them as their favorite character, and what will they do if they have a superpower. For the next activity session, which is practice, the teacher will give the students a paper. The students are required to do a short summary about how it feels like to meet your favorite superheroes. The teacher will pick 4 students randomly to present their work in front of the class. Next, as for the production session, the teacher will divide the students into 2 groups. The students must choose their own favorite character and do a role play based on the character that they choose. As for the closure, the teacher randomly pick a student to answer the question. The teacher will randomly give a question to the students and ask them to answer it. The next activity out of 5 lesson plan is, for the set induction, teacher will greet the students and do some warm-up sessions for the students. The teacher will show some pictures of Family's Day activity. Next, for the presentation session, the teacher will separate the students into 4 groups, which is the student need to sit in a group and discuss what they see on the slides. They need to write down in a paper what they have discussed and present it in front of the class. The next activity is the teacher will arrange the student to sit in a circle. The teacher will start the game by saying a sentence about an activity during family days and pass it to the students. The students are required to continue the sentence using their own idea and stop halfway. Next, the next student continue the chain from where it stopped by adding a new character or event. The last activity, for the production session, the teacher will show the students some videos about Family Day event. The students need to come out and present their own idea on describing the video that they watch. As for the closure, the teacher will recall back all the activities that they have done. The teacher will make a short summary about the topic they have learned in the class.
As for the last lesson plan out of 5, which is the topic or the theme is self-protection. So as for this self-protection, at the end of the lesson, which is at the end of the topic, the students can understand about the topic, overall topic, improve their speaking skills in front of the colleague, and also able to think creatively on how to protect themselves. And also discuss on how to prevent kidnapping by studying this topic, which is called self-protection. First of all, as in the lessons plan shows that first of all, the students will the teacher will greet the students first. As for the set of induction, teacher will do some warm-up session so that the students can generate their brain and can produce more idea by warming up first before they start their lessons. So the students will show the video on how to prevent kidnapping. For an example video in YouTube, so they can watch it together and see how to prevent themselves from kidnapping. First activity is the teacher asks students to come up with their own understanding and also idea on self-protection or kidnapping. What they understand from kidnapping and what they understand from self-protection. After they already elaborate their own word, what is the meaning of kidnapping, and each of the students required to present it in front of the classroom. Next, which is activity 2 in self-protection team, which is the teacher asks the students to work in pair, which is 2 persons in one group, and then the teacher asks to practice the dialect. For examples, a dialect seems like would you follow me if I give you candy? So what the students' reaction of this activity can test their ability critically thinking on how to give the reaction based on the dialect given, and then they can discuss it with friends, help students to improve their concentration in class based on what teachers already explained about kidnapping, so that they can generate their memory. As for the last activity, which is activity 3, which is the production, the teacher asks students to do it in front of the classroom with their answers written in A4 paper. So the teacher will give students a few questions, mostly ask like, what will you do if someone touch you inappropriately? What else do you do? Will you follow strangers? How do you prevent from being kidnapped? So this activity, which consists of pair group, must present the answers accordingly to their creativity and also their thinking. In front of the class, they have to answer all of the questions and then present in front of the classroom. Teacher give one sentence or dialect so that the students can answer. For the closure, which took around 10 minutes, the teacher will recap back all of the lessons that they learned today, and then emphasize about the topics that all the students have studied. The teacher will make a short summary about the topic they have learned today. And also, teacher asks a few understanding questions just to test their memory about today's lesson. So closure actually can help students to recall and flashback understandings from today's topic so that they will remember it. Lastly, the conclusion is what we have observed, and to conclude of all, one reasonable conclusion from this observation is that language learners should understand what they are listening and also speaking to before they begin to speak. So especially at the initial phase of language, teachers should avoid oral practice to some those activities that we conduct in the lessons plan also help to define how you will check whether the learning objective have been accomplished or not. Use listening skills, also speaking skills, is that teacher needs to incorporate for active listening or also speaking into the classes. So this is done with activities, so basically activities that we have done in the lesson plan. So it is all to help the learners to demonstrate what they understand and also receive gentle correction what they are listening or to speak. Understand that lesson plan also assists instructors or teachers or even lecturers to be extra effective in a classroom through being a detail defined to observe every duration. Last but not least, specifying objective for students' learning will help the teacher to determine the kinds of teaching also learning activities that you will use in class and that you will study in class. Lastly, is that the activities that we have done is actually helps students to interpret more skills in the classroom so that they will be a better student. In addition, is that the lessons plan that we have conduct is that the importance of lesson plans is a teacher in a way of teaching also, as what we are already observed and also measure in this project is that about using lesson plan is that lesson plan is a instructor daily guide for school college students to examine what it is going to be taught, and the way of getting to know can be a measure also.